Welcome, everybody, to our January 16th, 2024, 2 p.m. consent agenda meeting. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would all please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Please let the record reflect that all 5 commissioners are present. We have Commissioner CUNY joining us virtually, and the other 4 of us are here in the hearing room. I was notified there was no written comment for any of our agenda items today. And we will then move on to open public forum. I have 2 individuals who have signed in ahead of time. When I call your name, if you'd please come forward, please state your name and address for the record, and you will be given 3 minutes to testify, and we will lead off with Susie Hokanson. Longtime attendee, so good to see you again.
Last time. Susie Hokanson, I live at 1315 West Woodside Place. Thank you all for being here. And I've had the great opportunity to be with Jules Helping Hands. And the last 5 days I've spent at one of the shelters, and it is just a gift to be there, as Chris knows. And I invite you all to please come and visit. I will be there. What day is it? Wednesday and Thursday from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. And I can just quickly show you what's going on and how it's set up. And Jonathan Bingle came today for 30 minutes, and it was just fantastic. And last night I was at Knox Presbyterian Church, and I've been talking for 5 days, so that's why I have to look and get brain connected. Was at Knox Presbyterian Church, and they're there from 7:30 at night till like 7 in the morning. And I took a huge pot of soup, and they all loved it, and it was full of vegetables and pork and other stuff. And there was one amazing, well, there's so many of them, one young man. It was just like looking at every one of your eyes. And I wasn't listening well enough in the beginning, but I got to meet his dog Bear. And then I know something had happened in his life, and he was kind of stuck in Everett, and he made it to here. And he has a sister in, I believe, Miami, and he just needed a bus ticket. And he was on the corner, and a person stopped because the sign said need dog food. The person stopped, talked to him, went out, brought back dog food and a paid bus ticket to Miami. And they left this morning like at 7:15 from the center. But it is just truly amazing to see what's happening. And growing up Lutheran, I really believe this is the way churches are meant to be. And tonight I will be at Morning Star from 7:30, get to go home at 10. And I want to show you all the picture of the sanctuary, because it is the way I believe all people of faith should be living, a sanctuary full of people that can get to sleep. One of the mornings when I came to the Cedar one, I can use her name because she said I can tell everyone, and Chris got to meet her too. And I said, well, how did you sleep last night? And she said, well, it's the best night yet, but it's so quiet. It's hard to sleep. Anyway, it is just a joy to see what we're doing. So done. Bye.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have Julia McHugh.
Good afternoon, and I bet all of you know where I live, but it's 1514 North Grove Road. I'm on the West Plains. I'm in the Palisades neighborhood. I have a contaminated well, just as many of my neighbors do. This is PFAS contamination, which we don't yet know the source of. But from last week, I didn't have enough time to finish. And that is, I'm here to advocate for the Aquifer Protection Area ballot issue for 2024. My big alarm that I want to set off here is that in order to get on an August ballot, to get going. We've known about this since very early September, and now we only have 4 months left to really kick this off. I'd like to know from last week if you've had any chance to do anything about outreach, public information, town hall meetings out on the West Plains. I do want to remind you from the documents I left with you last week, there was a large table, and it tells you that we have 2 prisons, we have 2 flight lines, we have numerous landfills, we have the waste to energy plant, we have facilities on the West Plains that everybody in this entire region makes use of. We have transportation, we have waste disposal, we have public safety with the prisons, we have military readiness, we have recreation in the form of the Palisades Park. These are things and facilities that everybody out there in the Spokane Valley and out on the West Plains uses. My biggest concern is that if you split an aquifer protection area ballot between Spokane Valley, Rathdrum Prairie, and the West Plains, we know through S3R3 that there are identified poverty census tracts out in the West Plains. So if you leave the West Plains to vote for themselves for aquifer protection area, it's very unlikely that's going to pass. Even at $15 a year or $1.25 a month, that comes out to be, people that don't have enough money are not going to vote to raise their own taxes. So I want to strongly encourage you to consider that this is one aquifer protection area ballot issue, and that also that the West Plains is developing at a breakneck speed, as Mr. French well knows, and it is impacting our groundwater and for sure our quality of life. We have a lot of illness out there that is in some regards off the charts. And, you know, after sitting through your morning meeting and seeing with admiration for the attention that's being given to opioid addiction and so on, well, this issue of contaminated groundwater, where there are only sole source wells, 4,000 or so of them, then if you need to, consider that a disease. Consider we're addicted to clean water and we don't have it, nor do we have the help for it. So I'm here to finish that up and say thank you. And I look forward to hearing from you all and some outreach to the West Plains immediately, if at all possible.
Thank you. Commissioner French?
Yeah, thank you. And to answer your question, we just had a meeting this morning talking about how to structure the APA ballot measure for this fall and stuff. So Mr. Lindsay is in the audience. Mr. Kyle Tuig was at the meeting and stuff. So we are trying to put haste to the work that we need to get done.
Excellent. And please let us know. We have the West Plains Water Coalition. They are in touch with over 300, 400 members now. And we have the ability to reach out to many, many more people than we knew existed before. Okay, so let us help you in any way. Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else wishing to testify? Please come forward.
My name is Christian McKinney. I live at 2506 West Rowan Avenue in Spokane. I'm here on behalf also of the church warming shelter thing. I've been working with Susie on it. I've only been to this meeting once before, so thanks for letting me come to talk. I've been to several of the sites, and I was helping the kind of grassroots movement that originally organized this, where just different voices in the community kind of said, enough is enough. We want to make this happen, even if we don't get the support from any higher levels or the financial support that we need. Obviously, Jules Helping Hands was critical to that and offering to, out of their own hands, basically make this happen. But really, the community has stepped up is one thing that I've seen. A lot of neighborhood people who live nearby, people that have heard about it, have been so generous and just wanted to be in the space and treat people as people, kind of like what Susie said. One thing I've been struck by when I enter these spaces is they feel very different than a mass congregate shelter. They feel almost like a YMCA. I've worked at the YMCA for about 7 years, and I just think of it as this kind of third place, a place that's not work or the home, a place you can go into and just find community and connection. And that's how these spaces feel to me, which I think is a really good sign. One thing that I feel like we need is we're asking for volunteers, and we need volunteers to assist staff and having people on the floor there. And we're getting volunteers during the day, and we're getting volunteers to do things like meals. Like the meal trains are going amazingly because people are already making meals. The tough thing is overnight shifts, because a lot of the people that really want to care they already have avenues in their life to care. They're caring for kids where they have to be at home. They have a job. They're already a service provider, right? And this is what they do all day. And so being able to hire somehow to find funds to hire staff to help overnight would be a huge lift for this project that would really make things a lot easier and keep people from burning out that are working on it. Transportation can also be a challenge to have staff to not only run the shelter, but also make sure people are getting where they need to be to not only help them, but help keep the neighborhoods in good order. So those are two things that are kind of on my mind that would be really beneficial to this project. But thanks for listening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to testify, or is anyone online? Second call. Third and final call. Seeing no one else wishing to participate in open public forum, we will close open public forum. And I will ask, are there any items on our agenda that any of my fellow commissioners would like to take separately? All right, then I am open to a motion on items 3 and 4.
Mr. Vice Chair, I would move that we approve item 3A and 4A through O on today's agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Well, that is it for our agenda. Commissioner CUNY, do we have your permission to use your stamp?
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, then we will sign some documents. I will look to everyone else here on the dais. Anything for the good of the order? Any miscellaneous items?
Oh, Mr. Vice Chair, I think Mr. McMorris is here. We've been working with Chandra Fox on some of the specifics that we might want to bring to the legislature around wildfire response. And so I don't know if we have time under miscellaneous just to give him some
come
time
on
to
up.
present. Since some of us are going to Olympia the next 2 days to advocate on behalf of the county, we just want to make sure we have some information we can share with our state legislators.
So Chandra last week sent around a email to all of you with a nice document on what she sees as the both near-term and long-term goals. And what Commissioner Waldrop asked me to do is kind of take that information and put it into more of a one-pager that the legislators could look at and do that 90-second read, see the details, and then they can always ask for the deep dive that Chandra did for us. So I believe Commissioner Waldrop passed out to you both the original, which is on the screen right now, as well as a version. If I did my job well, I did not change any content. It was just a matter of condensing it down, trying to make it a quick read for the very busy legislators during session. As around 4 bullet points: individual assistance, public assistance, and then requests for the county, one being for debris removal and the other for other miscellaneous unmet needs.
Mr. Chair, one thing that we discussed briefly in between morning and afternoon session was maybe we could add the amount that we've already received from the state, so we could thank the state for its current support. And I know you're going to follow up with Chandra on a couple of these that we had some questions about, just to get some clarity. I know she's home under the weather today.
I did leave her voicemail, an email, but hopefully after the federal delegation call today, she went to bed and got some rest that she needs. So I haven't heard back from her yet. I did send around to Commissioner Waldrop the money. And we can quickly add that in received to date. I did confirm that with Heather Arnold in our grants program. The piece that I do not know at this point is remaining dollars, what has been spent. Heather would be able to look up what has been reimbursed. Chandra would probably have that information more, maybe other bills that have been incurred but not yet put in for reimbursement, but we could quickly add that information.
Yeah, that was just my thought at the top. We could say, you know, received to date, this from the state, this is our match that we provided from the county. So we can start by recognizing that we have received millions, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and we'd love the state's partnership as we keep moving forward. So thank you. Thanks, Jeff, for your quick work today. I appreciate that.
That's sounding good to everybody to throw that together and send it around?
Yeah.
Yep. Just a quick
Commissioner Jordan?
question. I was just chatting with Commissioner Kearns up here as to whether to keep this on Department of Emergency Management letterhead or whether to add it into our agenda. Commissioner Kearns mentioned it might actually get more attention from legislators if we keep it as basically an addendum to our legislative agenda. So I just wanted to raise that. That sounds fine with me. Smarter people than me can know what works in the legislature. So
Then we'll leave it on its current letterhead. Looks to be the consensus of head nods.
Any other miscellaneous items? No. Anything from our chief civil deputy?
Nothing for me.
Okay. Well, then we will sign some documents and we are